introduce our speaker. We had a slight change in plans, but we now have Reverend Eileen today, and she's going to speak on Rise Up and Dance.
I'm going to channel my best Reverend Ruth. Is she on Zoom? She said she was going to try and join us on Zoom. No, she's not there. She'll watch us later. She decided with the storm that she just did not want to take a chance.
Smart cookie.
Yeah, smart cookie, right? Right. And I just posted on my Facebook page that if you haven't discovered Danny Barker yet, you need to.
I am on Zoom.
She's on Zoom.
Oh, she's on Zoom. See? Hi, Reverend Ruth. How are you?
Hi.
Everybody's saying hi. I love that. I love that. All right, so we're going to talk today about Rise Up and Dance. When's the last time you danced? Last night, Sylvia, of course. I beat you, Sylvia. I danced this morning. I danced this morning. When was the last time you danced? Recently? Recently? You know, it's interesting. I used to do this thing. You know, when I was stuck working from home, I'd be sitting in my office, door closed, you know, working away. And that afternoon, I start to do that slump. You know, that afternoon slump, that's when I need to get something, my body moving. And I decided one day that instead of sugar, I thought maybe I would do something healthy for my body. So Mark had gotten home from work, and he works construction. By the time he gets home, he is exhausted, right? He's left for work at 4:30 in the morning. So at 2:30 or 3, I'm needing a pick-me-up, and he's like, leave me alone, I need a nap, which I get. But what I started to do is I would go out with my phone, which I left, and I would come out of the room blasting something like Meghan Trainor's I'm Better When I'm Dancing. And I'd run out there and I'd say, dance break. And I'd start dancing. And he'd look at me like, you are crazy, woman. But I was having so much fun and I had so much joy, he couldn't help but get up and join me. He couldn't help but get up and join me. Have you had that experience? Sylvia, you have that experience all the time when you're out dancing, right? It takes somebody to get out on the dance floor to get everybody else to get out to the dance floor, right? I imagine you do that a lot. Yeah. So when I used to work with bands, I was a sound engineer. And this one band, we would play at this place called the Cabaret. And they had an in-house sound system and a sound person. So I didn't have to mix sound. So that was my job, was to be the first one on the dance floor and get people dancing. It was so much fun. Man, I was trim and fit. I was out dancing like 4 nights a week. It was great, except for in the morning when I had to get up, but I was in my 20s. So it was easier than it would be today for me to get up that early in the morning. But there's something that happens, right? Your endorphins start to shift and move. Yeah, right? Your serotonin levels go up. There's something about when you dance, right? Danny wrote dance music back in the day, right? You performed in dance bands. Yeah, a lot of it. And it brings so much joy. Have you ever seen anybody cranky on a dance floor?
Not for long.
Not for long, right? Right? My favorite show, one of my favorite shows, thank you, Mom, is Dancing with the Stars. Anybody else watch that? Gail watches it with me sometimes. I love Dancing with the Stars. And the reason I love it is because these people come and this is not what they've done before. And you can see their frustration on their faces sometimes. You can. But then once the music's over, they take a breath and they smile. They smile. It's lifted them. So let's talk about dance and rising up. Thank you. So I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I'm going to talk about embracing a sense of wonder, rising up in gratitude, and dancing in celebration. Ready? All right. When we embrace a sense of wonder, what happens? We're teachable. We're teachable. How many of us are teachable in this room? How many of us find ourselves having moments of being unteachable? Moments, yeah. Moments, it happens.
When I'm right.
When you're right, then you're unteachable. I love that. When I'm right, I am unteachable. Yeah, yeah, it happens. It happens to all of us. And it doesn't mean that we're wrong. It just means that in that moment, I can't hear. What happens, though, when you look at, say, a flower? What happens when you look really deeply into a flower? I love the idea of looking into a succulent. Not just looking at a succulent, but really looking into a succulent. It's a mandala, right? It's a beautiful, perfect pattern. But the other one I love is the unrolling of a fern, right? The unrolling of a fern out in the forest, and you see it rolling, and you just know that as it opens up, it's going to be something fantastic. My other thing I love to do is to look at a piece of wood, a block of wood. What could this be? I look at the block of wood and I think, what am I going to do with this piece of African mahogany? What could this be? It was at one point a beautiful tree. And now it is a beautifully preserved block of wood in my shop. So I take this block of wood and I stick it to my lathe. And I start that lathe up with a sense of awe and wonder. What will this become? So as it's spinning, I knock the edges off. Kind of like relationship, right? Right? But when we're in relationship, what happens? Our edges bump into each other until we soften them up. So as I'm spinning, it turns into a round circle. And then I wonder, what is going to happen next? What will this piece of wood become? And then I start to hollow it out. I hollow it, and then I create a shape. And I never have a plan when I'm spinning and turning. I never have a plan. I let the wood speak to me. So it becomes a shape, right? It becomes a shape that I've hollowed out. This piece of wood becomes this beautiful bowl. Because I've gone at it with a sense of awe and wonder. What beauty am I going to find inside of this? Well, I see the beautiful grain and the shine. Oh my gosh, this wood has a beautiful shine. It's got a little bit of imperfection, which I love. A lot of people who do wood turning would throw that away. I love the little imperfection. It's got where I could see where a branch had grown out of this piece of wood. There's a round circle in there. That's where a branch was coming through. And when I hold it, I sanded it down really, really finely. So it's soft in my hands. And so when I look at this, I can see, I love to meditate with one of my bowls in my hands, because I can look into the bowl and I could see all of the rings, all of the movement, all of the experience that this tree had before it came to me. That's where I find the awe and the wonder. The other night, our power went out. Anybody else have that experience? Yeah, our power went out. So I was texting my Aunt Gail, not this Aunt Gail, my Aunt Gail, which is really funny because nobody can ever figure out which Gail I'm talking about. I was texting my Aunt Gail. I said, power's out at home. She said, well, we just turned our generator on. Come on over. So I went over and it was just almost too dark to see outside. And she said, come with me. Now, Gail's lived up here for 40 years. She spent her childhood in Albion and has lived in Fort Bragg for 30 some odd years. Come with me, gotta show you. I said, what? And she drove me out the back door in the rain and she said, watch those trees swaying. Isn't that amazing? It was as if she was a little kid seeing those trees for the first time. She said, I love this. Every time it happens, I just can't stand it. I have to go watch. It was catching. Her awe and wonder was catching. What if we looked at life like that? With awe and wonder. So we have to embrace that. You know, when we embrace wonder and awe in our lives, and we consciously do it, it starts to rewire our brains. It starts to rewire our brains. Gratitude's the same way. This morning I was flipping through some videos early this morning, and I ran across Mel Robbins. Has anybody here heard of Mel Robbins? She's got some podcasts, and she is like the poster child of awe and wonder when it comes to exactly what we've been teaching for over 100 years. But it's amazing. And she was sitting there with Dr. James Doty from Stanford's CCARE, that's Compassion, Cultivation, Altruistic Research and Education. She was sitting with him and he was talking about, I don't know, say that 3 times fast. I couldn't get it out this morning earlier. He was talking about if you want something, science has proven that you can manifest something. All you need to do is to write down what it is that you read it to yourself. And then he went like this. He said, and then visualize yourself having exactly that. He says, now you can't do this just once a day. Or one time. You have to do this regularly and consistently. And sit in gratitude for what you have already. Imagine that you have this and sit in gratitude for already having it. And she said, whoa, wait a minute. That sounded really easy, but it doesn't seem like it would be. And so what he explained, and it's perfect that Matt's here, because this is right up Matt's alley. What he explained was that our natural default, because we have had to protect ourselves our entire lives, is the natural default for everyone, so don't feel alone here, is oftentimes a negative thought. When we're tired, when we're stressed, it's not the positive thoughts that come up, it's the negative ones. What happens when we do this kind of practice every day is it starts to change those thoughts. It starts to rewire your brain. It starts to build new neural pathways. And quite literally, the old ones disappear. The old thought patterns just fall away. Pam Grout, in her book, Thank and Grow Rich. Fabulous, fabulous book. It's a 30-day experiment in shameless gratitude and unabashed joy. Who doesn't want that? She says in her book, the problem has never been reluctance on the part of the universe. The problem is our inability to see the beautiful, loving truth it continually offers. Yeah, it's our job. It's always out there. I mean, look at this view. It's always out there. I was thinking about the other day, I was driving into town and I pulled up behind this car up here at the light, not the traffic light, the construction light. And I was reading the bumper stickers and the license plate frame and the license plate said, I'm a nudist. I'm a nudist.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
The license plate frame said transgender nudist. And then there was stickers about, God didn't create clothes, something like that. And it made me smile. It made me smile. I was like, oh, there's a truck in front of me. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, and I smiled. So I get all the way up into town, and when it splits back into a two-lane road, I made sure to pull up next to this person. And this woman had blue hair, and I rolled down my window and I went like this. And she rolled down her window and she said, hi. I said, I just wanted to tell you how much I appreciate your stickers and your license plate frame and your license plate. It just made me smile. Thank you. And she said, oh my gosh, thank you. And off we went, right? It just takes a moment. She touched me. I have no idea who this person is, but she made me smile. And I suddenly felt gratitude that this person was freely expressing themselves and frankly didn't care what anybody else thought. What you think of me is none of my business, right? Right? That's the kind of life I want to live, where I can say to people every day, thank you, I'm grateful for you. There's a woman who has a Friends of Navarro Beach page. Has anybody seen this on Facebook? Friends of Navarro Beach, and she hasn't been posting a lot lately, but she's been posting for a while about what's going on at the beach, a picture of the beach about every other day, and then gives updates on whether the mouth of the river is closed or not, and it broke open recently. And I wrote her a note. Actually, I think I posted it on one of the pictures, and I said, I just want you to know how grateful I am for you posting all the time, because not a lot of people say they like what she posts, but they don't actually write. I thought, I need to tell her how much I appreciate this. Whether she sees that or not, I've put it out there for the universe to know that I'm experiencing gratitude, right? I'm experiencing gratitude. Ernest Holmes says, and I'll quote, there is a laughter in God, let's laugh it. There is a song in the universe, let's sing it. There's a hymn of praise, let's praise it. There's a joy, a beauty. There is a deep abiding peace, let's experience it. Yeah, let's experience it. It's time to get out of our seats and dance. It's time to celebrate all that we have and to give it unabashedly, right? What is it that I can give from my overflow? I can give excitement and joy and celebration today. What can you give? Hugs? A connection? What can you give?
That's what holiday parties are for.
That's what holiday parties are for, right?
You give.
You give. Yes, Sylvia.
Can I share a very brief story that fits so?
Yes, come share your story.
I had this incredible experience this week. I mean, most of you know I'm vegan and I have a really hard time killing anything. I don't even like killing ants, but I've had rats in my greenhouses and in my garden shed, and my butcher fiance has no problem taking care of them. So I said, okay, fine, but the kind of traps I want are the ones that kill them fast so that they don't suffer. I don't want poison out there. And then there's a place on my compost bin where once the rats are caught, I put them there and the ravens come and get them. So it's this nice cycle of life. And I'm going, okay, this feels okay to me. I can participate in this. This week, John was not there. A raven, I was in my kitchen and there are trees above the greenhouse. And there was this raven in the tree above one of my greenhouses, and it was just cawing and cawing, and I cawed back out the window, and it looked directly at me. And then it took flight and it went over above the other greenhouse and landed right above where the door is to the garden shed, which is where the traps are. And it sat there and cawed at me. And I said, are you trying to tell me there's something in there? And I said, okay, let me put on my outdoor shoes. I did, and because it was wet out, and I went out into the garden and I went into that shed and there were 2 dead rats. I went, and as I was walking out there, I said to myself, I know that if there are rats in there, this raven was communicating directly with me, directly, and he got 2 rats that day. I just had to share that.
I love that. I love that. And now wait for the raven to bring you a present. They do. They like to bring shiny things.
Yeah, probably steal it from me.
Yeah, you'll end up with somebody's lipstick. That happened to me once. I was like, this lipstick is not mine. Nobody had been over. And then I realized it was the crows in my neighborhood were bringing me little trinkets because I was leaving little things out for them. So Watch for it. I want to know what they leave you. So our teachings remind us that what we focus on, we get more of, right? Where you put your attention, that will grow. It enlarges, right? So if I'm thinking, oh, life is terrible, I'm having a hard time, what's going to happen? Life is terrible, I'm going to have a hard time. If I'm angry about something, what's going to happen? It's going to make it bigger, right? When I used to commute in Silicon Valley, it took me over an hour to drive 22 miles. I know you all are like, wow. And traffic used to make me really angry, and I would get to work frustrated. And then I heard somebody say, find one thing on your commute that you can be grateful for. And pretty soon that turned into my practice of, oh, look at that, that's really pretty. Oh, look at that person's putting, doing this in their car. That guy's shaving in his commute. That person's putting on makeup. Oh, wait, that's me. That person is, I used to love to dance and sing and just be silly in my car because people would smile and laugh. I don't care if they were laughing at me. I decided they were laughing with me, right? It was super fun. And pretty soon I was getting to work energized and excited. I just had to change the way I was approaching it. So that's what I invite you to do, is to change the way that you approach the challenges in your life and celebrate that. Yeah? All right, let's pray. Knowing that there is one source, one presence, one power that moves in, through, and around each and every one of us, I know that it is peace, it is joy, it is love, it is dancing. It is that exhilaration. That thing that I call spirit, God, divine presence, infinite intelligence, Mother Nature, Father Sky, that is all that there is. And I know that that has a healing presence. That when I focus on it, something new manifests for me. When I focus on what is in front of me, the beauty, the joy, even in what looks like difficult situations, I can transform it. Because as we change our minds, what happens? We change our lives. We change the planet. We change the entire universe just by simply focusing on what is good in the world. So I'm knowing that each person that hears my voice is focused on that healing. They're focused on the abundance. They are focused on the wonderful Thanksgiving meal that they're having this week. They are focused instead on the joy of their families. They are focused on the joy of the children. The joy of just sitting around the table with people who, no matter what, love us. Love us. No matter what it might be looking like on the outside, they love us. They can't not love us because we are a reflection of who they are, and they are a reflection of who we are. We bless the hands that do the work, that create the meals this holiday season. We bless those who decorate, who set up, who open their homes. We bless those that we see on the road, on the trails, in the store. We bless those that are in need of a healing, no matter what that healing may look like, physical, emotional. We bless each and every one. We bless our center, the Mendocino Center for Spiritual Living, because we do work that we bring out into the world. And when we bring it out into the world, when we teach others what we already know, we are shifting the entire planet. I know that to be the truth. I know that to be the truth. And I'm grateful for all of it. See, I know that even before these words were spoken, that Spirit was already saying, yes, yes, yes. I'm on it. I got it. Just keep pointing your toes in the direction you want to go and watch the magic unfold. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And so we just let this prayer be. We know that it's already done and we say together. And so